Happy lunch hour, gang. All right, we're going to get away from Israel for a little bit. We're going to talk about something prepping. We got another entry into the solar generator world here, if you will. Now, this one's been out for about 6 months or so. The Oukitel, if you guys remember the brand, this is who we did the water filters, everything with for Hawaii, that sort of stuff. Same brand here. Okay. Elliot over at Wellbots was kind enough to provide this, and we'll get through the whole thing on that. You know, we're going to give one of these away. But I want to give you the details on this because this is different than other generators. This is by far the biggest generator storage capacity that I can find out on the market. Okay. If you want to give it, thing weighs 114 pounds. It's heavy. Right? It has its pros and cons, like every other solar generator out there. And this is why I mentioned many times to you, figure out what your situation is, because your situation is different than mine. Your needs are going to be different than mine. And this is why I show you all the different options that I can find out there for what would fit each one of your situations. This may fit great for some people. This may not fit at all for others. So let's kind of go through this a little bit. This is a 5,120 watt hour generator. This is huge. Okay? If you think about some of the other big ones I've talked about, the EcoFlow Delta Pro is a 3,600 watt hour. The Opus Mega 3 that I showed you guys the other day, well, maybe a couple of weeks ago now, is a 3,600 watt hour generator. The Opus Mega 5, which I've not reviewed, but you can see it on other channels they have, is a 5,000 watt hour generator. This one is bigger, storage capacity wise. That is the key, okay? What you can store. Now, the difference between them is this can run 2,200 watts at any given time. Understand this, okay? So, I'm going to try to explain this so you understand. I'll compare it to the Delta Pro because that's kind of how they try to market this as a comparison for the Delta Pro. I think that's not very accurate. The Delta Pro is a 3,600 watt hour generator that I can run 3,600 watts at the same time on, okay? Well, so if I maxed it out 3,600 watts on a 3,600 watt hour generator, I could max it out and run it for 1 hour. This one will run 2,200 watts constantly, and it's 5,120 watt hours. So I could run less appliances on this generator, but for a longer period of time. I could run 2,200 watts on this one for, about 2.5 hours, thereabouts, 2 hours and 20 minutes, something. So give you that idea. This has more storage, but you can't run as many appliances at the same time. So I want to explain that first off. As far as generators go, it's pretty standard. You got your LCD display up top. You got your cigarette lighter adapter, or cigarette lighter DC charge. You've got an airplane charge here. Okay. I have nothing I could even possibly test that with. Okay. You have your USBs, you have your USB fast charge, you have your USB-C, okay, charging there. It only has 4 AC plugs. Personally, I think that is a little soft, but if you can only run 2,200 watts, okay, fine. Most of the other generators you're going to find have 5 or 6, but if I can run 3,600 watts, maybe I need 6. Okay, let's divide it out. That'd be 600 watts per plug. This one, if I can only run 2,200 watts, 4 plugs, okay, that's 550. So maybe that's why there's 4 plugs. But just to give you an idea, only 4 AC plugs on here, okay? And then, of course, you have your 30 amp plug, the RV plug, however you want to be. This can be connected to a transfer switch in your house. So you can connect your whole house to it. This is where the disparity comes in. And this is where I think them comparing it to the Delta Pro is not exactly the correct place to do it. They claim that you can run 120 volt, or 240 volt off of this simultaneously, like you can on the Delta Pro with the smart panel I've showed you my setup. However, here's the problem. Because you can only run 220 or 2200 volts through this at any given time, you're probably only getting around 10 amps, which at that point, 10 amps is not going to be enough to run my well pump or run my water heater. Okay? Those are 30 amp circuits. Now, the other issue with this, even though it's 5,120 watt hours, this is not an expandable system. I'm not an electrical engineer. I'm going to qualify that right now. The only way that I can feasibly see this running 240 is if you had two of these connected to two transfer switches, each one of them connected to one 110 volt breaker in your breaker box. If there's an electrician out who knows something different, great. I'm just telling you what the way the math works. Okay. So is it a solid generator? Yes. I would compare this much more to the Opus Mega 3 that I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago, where it is good for a situation where you don't have 240 to run, where you want to run off of 120. Okay. That I can see this being used for. The big capacity, storage-wise, that's great. Downside is it's not expandable. So you've got to weigh those pros and cons. What are you going to try to run? If you're going to run your refrigerator, your overhead lights, something, yeah, this will run your refrigerator for days on end, or freezer. Okay. But don't expect it to run your refrigerator, your freezer, your lights, your dishwasher, and your washing machine. It's not going to handle all of that. It can't. Again, 2200 volts or 2200 watts is all it can constantly run. It has a 4000 watt surge, but to consistently run, it's 2200. So if you are good about shutting off the lights after you leave a room, you're running a refrigerator, you're running a freezer, that is a positive. Okay. So yes, there is a place for this. It's not for everybody. This is what I'm trying to harp upon. As like everything else, you can charge this via AC. You can charge this with a car charger, though you guys all know if you're going to plug a cigarette lighter in and charge it, it's going to take forever. Okay. You can plug it in off of solar. For AC input, 1800 watts. Perfect. Okay. If you want to plug it into the wall and charge it, it'll charge just as fast as a Delta Pro. The downside to this one is important in my mind, especially for an SHTF event. Solar input, if we don't have power anymore, all you're charging this off of is solar panels. This will only take 1000 watts of solar input. Now, that's fine if you have portable solar panels, you hook a couple of those up in series, and you're there. Okay. You know, even if you had two 400 watt portable panels, you could do that. You're good. Comparatively, when you're looking at the Delta Pro will take 1600 watts of solar input. The Mega 3 that I told you about will take 2000 watts of solar input. And again, that's in a perfect world. You put 1000 watts of solar panels up, you are not going to get 1000 watts of input. You still have line loss, et cetera, et cetera. So the charging capacity of this is less than its competitors. This is why I'm saying a better comparison for this than the Delta Pro is the Mega 3. I would see this as a good use whole home system for a small home. If you, like I said, if you're good about turning lights off, because you can only run 2200 watts, and you are running everything on 120, not 240. Okay. Again, even though they claim 240 all out of one unit, you don't need to pair it up. I don't see how it works because you can only get about 10 amps out of that. Okay. The advantage to this one is price. And again, that's where everything comes into play. How much can you get for what you are paying? Now, this retails, well, when this came out with Kickstarter here, the beginning of the year, it was retailing around $4,400. You guys all know that solar generators have dropped drastically in price. Okay. The least expensive I can find it right now anywhere is on Wellbots, where retail on this is $29.89. Okay, which again is in line with what a Delta Pro will cost retail or what a Mega 3 will cost retail. Now, of course, we get specials from Elliott or specials from other companies at any given time on different generators. Okay, so we get a break. This one's no different. Elliott has a huge deal for us on this one where for a week, okay, so till next Monday, $950 off. So at that point, you're talking about $2,039, free shipping, of course, for 5,120 watts of storage. So if you're looking at doing the math here, now you're looking at what, about 40 cents a watt for storage, which is cheaper than anything I've ever seen. Okay. And even if you want to talk about usability, 2200 watts usability, that's still less than $1 a watt, which you can use as consistent use. Okay. Is this right for everybody? No. Are any of them right for anybody? No. Like I told you guys a week or so when I did the Mega 3, okay, or when I showed you my setup for the Delta Pro. Is that right for everybody? No. Why waste the money on something that can do 240 if everything you have is on 120? Okay. This, like I said, the best one I can compare this to, this compares much more favorably to the Mega 3 than it does to the Delta 13 or the Delta Pro. If you got 240, that personal opinion, this is not the generator for you. Okay. Just because of the way it works. But there is another entry for you to consider as you are looking, because I know a lot of you guys are saving for generators, trying to figure out which one's the best, and it's confusing. Trust me, I got to research every one of these things, so I get it. Okay. Now, if you just want something that's portable, hey, the best quality that this has is it has more battery storage than anything else on the market that I can find. Just saying that, because when you've got 50% more storage in the Delta Pro, means 50% less time you have to charge it. Yes, you'll be able to run your refrigerator, your freezer, maybe some lights or whatever for days on end without having to charge this. It also does have uninterrupted power supply, which is important. So if you hook this up somehow and you've got solar panels, a solar array out there, you can be constantly charging this while you're using it. And if you can do it off the grid if you want to, you can plug your refrigerator into this or plug your freezers into this, plug it in right here. Have the charger, the AC charger or the solar charger right here on the side. If you lose power, this will kick on automatically. So you do have UPS on this. All right. So there's the deal on this. Is it a good generator? Yes. I would give it a 7 of 10. There are negatives, as I've mentioned here. There are some very good positives as well. As usual, we are giving one away. Okay. We will do this on tomorrow night's live stream, Tuesday the 10th. Okay. We'll be giveaway. It is 8 o'clock Eastern time, okay, which is 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. Okay. No, I haven't changed the time. I say that every time because somebody always says, you changed the time. No, I did not. Okay. In order to enter this, you must make a comment on this video and this video only. You must live in the United States. It can be included Hawaii and Alaska with this. Okay, just telling you that. You must make a comment below. Primary comments only. Do not leave anything in a reply. Okay, your first comment. I would also suggest only making one comment on the video. I don't care if the comment is a paragraph, but don't say, good morning, Pinball, and then put another comment that says, Minnesota, because when I remove all the duplicates, if it removes the one that says Minnesota and puts the good morning Pinball one, that's not a valid entry. Okay? Just trying to tell you this. So you need to put the state in which you live in, primary comments only, and then you need to put your as well in the comments, same comment, your favorite fall activity. Okay? Now that we are into leaves turning, so whether you like watching college football or whether you like raking leaves or having a campfire, I don't care. Okay? But your favorite fall activity. Those are the two things. Tomorrow night on the live stream, we will give one of these away. It is a must be present to win. As per normal, the way this will work is I will do the random comment generator right in front of everybody live. Okay. Whoever's name gets drawn will have 3 minutes to say they are there in the live stream, and then they will win. And Elliot will ship one of these to you sometime, probably by the end of the week. Okay. So when it goes out, so you have this sometime next week. The Oukitel is another possible prep to add. I will leave everything down below if you're interested in reading more on this. Take a look at Elliot's website. Go research the generator on your own. But I will leave the link to Wellbots for this. I will also leave the coupon code below you for this if you're interested in purchasing one or if you're interested in reading more to it. Like I said, pros and cons, best storage capacity out there. The cons, it is not expandable, and you only can put 1,000 watts of solar input to it. For you, those may not be cons. That may be a fit. So just trying to give you all the options available. Have a good afternoon, guys. See you later. Pinball out.